Alright, what's up, you guys? Back here with another video, part 2 for AspieKev Reacts. So, again, we are doing the Saucecast with Adam Sosnick. That's associated with Valuetainment as well. In fact, let me fix something here real quick as I get in here. Let's see. So, oh, okay, so I did that wrong then. Oh gosh, so sorry, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so I'm also streaming as well, so I mean, I'm technically live if you want to go down. I'm about to post it on my Instagram stories too, so I gotta airdrop the thumbnail to my laptop too. Excuse me. It's kind of funny. Don't judge me on my thumbnails because it's my first time posting videos and I want to be goofy. I want to be myself. So if you don't like it, I don't care. Okay? I'm goofy with myself and I'm happy with being myself, guys. So bear with me, but also give me just a second. I'm doing a lot of work on the DL when no one's looking. So I hope everybody knows that I'm actually working my butt off. But it ain't about me. It's actually at the end of the day about Jesus. So, but give me just 1 second here. Airdrop that. Oh wait, I'm gonna do that again because Jesus, computer. There you go. I gotta edit it and then crop it and do all this BS with it so it can be perfect because it's just I'm just OCD like that. But yeah, that's it. Ooh, that's fire. Fire. Excuse me. Sorry, I am parched right now, and I'm gonna go fill my water bottle up with ice here in a minute. But whoa, failed. What you mean? What are we doing? I don't know why it's not. Why? What? Trying to airdrop my freaking... trying to airdrop my stinking... thumbnail. What the heck? What the heck? What in the world? Okay, I was like, what? I don't know why it was not working. Okay. Okay, so I got the thumbnail. Okay, I got... okay. Excuse me, I kind of blanked out for a minute. Okay, so now... whoa, gosh. Okay, so... alright, so let's pick up where we left off. Okay, so we are in... so we were watching... so we were watching Adam Sosnick's podcast, also associated with Valuetainment as well. And it's gonna be so we were talking, we watched it, I think we went through almost an hour of it. Also, by the way, I know that the stream was an hour and a half. I know the stream was an hour and a half, and I know that that it was pretty long, and we had a lot of dialogue, but it was really good stuff, guys. I mean, I love this stuff. Sorry about that. I'm copy and pasting stuff, and the cursor is like fading to black on my screen, on my OBS. But let's see. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. Okay, so... yeah, I'm just making sure that I have all my bases correct when I make content based off of... do you want people to make money off your content, or it's like, do you expect people to pay for your content if you shout them out? It's like, no, I really don't, actually. This is out of my own free will and having fun, so at this point I don't really care. But I care about, the content that I genuinely bring out when it comes to the Word of God and when it comes to all of my content. But at the end of the day, I know that people will take it out of context, misinterpret it, people won't understand it, but it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know, it is what it is, I guess. But I'm gonna go fill up my water bottle, and then we will get started into back into the video. So they left off of starting off with getting back of talking on the topic of the Diddy naming names. But yeah, but I will be back. I'm gonna put my screen on black so I don't just have everything showing. But yeah, I will be right back, guys. All right. All right. So, yeah, they were just starting off the new topic with talking about the Diddy naming names. So, we're gonna start on that. You just switch over here. Okay.
About OJ, fair trial. Can he get a fair trial? How can Donald Trump get a fair trial? Who knows? There's not one person that doesn't have a strong opinion on Trump one way or another. The list goes on. But now we have Diddy, right? Diddy's all up in the news, all up in the videos, according to Suge Knight, if you remember that whole thing. But he's fighting back now. So now Diddy, you saw...
Oh, what? Hold up.
Get a fair trial. Who knows? There's not one person that doesn't have a strong opinion on Trump one way or another. The list goes on. But now we have Diddy, right? Diddy's all up in the news, all up in the videos, according to Suge Knight, if you remember that whole thing.
I want to ask y'all, what do y'all think Suge Knight has on P. Diddy? Because apparently, what's being said around is that it all leads back to Diddy. So, just saying.
But he's fighting back now. So now Diddy, you saw his houses raided, LA and Miami. You know, I live 5 minutes from Star Island down in South Beach. I'm familiar with Ciroc and the Ciroc boys in the club. But now Diddy's finally speaking. Did you see this video of the names that he named? Any of you guys?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, la 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 la. Let's hope that this is actually true. So Diddy is basically saying the following. A lot of stories out there about me, and none of my friends are stepping up. But I got stories about all my friends. So what I'm going to do is let all my friends know that I got stuff on them too. None of them are answering my phone these days. None of them are saying anything. So I'm just going to subtly and gently and directly say their name out loud. Destiny Child once said, say my name. Well, Diddy, although he's not produced that video, he's saying people's names. So Malik, let's roll the tape on what Diddy had to say.
And he's acting shady.
Listen to the names that he names off.
Here it is.
There's music on it.
Diddy,
I think we can play the music.
listen until the end. I'm seeing names.
Go ahead. Play it, Malik. Play the volume. So he's with his, I believe, daughter. You can do it on 1.5 too.
Why is he making his kid do that? Yeah. So
He's having his kid read out the names.
evil. That's weird. That's creepy.
I thought this was from an older video from like 2022.
It's not evil. Look at what God is doing. Look at what God is making them do.
Is it?
Look, just look. It's that simple. It's happening right in front of you.
This is fascinating.
Malik.
That's all you got?
Fast forward a little bit. Okay, Jessica Alba.
At
Yeah,
least
keep
I didn't
going.
see Trump in there.
Keep going. Keep going. Like fast forward like 10, 15 more seconds. All right, back up 5 seconds and slow it down. Back up 5 more seconds, please. And slow it down. Turn it up.
Does that look like Biggie? Or, not Biggie. Does that look like Diddy? I want you to look really, really closely at that person right there. Who does that look like? Me personally? Who does that look like? DMX? Maybe a little person. Maybe. Maybe. Just putting it out there. No, it's Diddy. I'm kidding. It was just a joke. but I know it was not a good joke because it was not funny.
Okay. So what he's saying is all these people, they get too busy to answer their phone. So I'm going to name some names. Now, I don't know what's happening here. And by the way, I don't even really care when this, like if this video, he knows all these people. So he's friends with all these people. Do you have that video of the party?
They're talking about P. Diddy being the Epstein of Hollywood. Now, if that's true, there's a lot that needs to be told here. You know what I mean?
That he's at. So
Oh yeah. Okay. He's another one.
just don't. I get. Here's what all I'm saying. At some point, Diddy has dirt on a lot of people. Does anybody disagree that Diddy has dirt on a lot of
I
people?
think they all have dirt on each other. That's the whole point. That's how the
Okay.
system works.
Kind of how it all works. So his buddy Stevie J, who's one of the biggest DJs in Miami, I've been to Live on Sunday too many times to name. He DJs there all the time. I've seen Diddy there. I've seen Lil Wayne there. I've seen Rick Ross there. I've seen all the NBA guys. He sort of had his back on this, but it could backfire, ironically. Stevie J says, I just want to remind you guys that they do have something to worry about. This is what a real Diddy party looks like. Play this video, and this, you definitely can't play the volume.
Oh no.
This is from a 50th birthday celebration in 2019, full disclosure. Tell me who you recognize in this video.
You're gonna recognize a whole lot of people.
Dr. Dre, Kobe,
Mm-hmm.
Kendall Jenner.
Hit the volume for 3 seconds.
Jay-Z.
Turn it off.
We can play for like 5.
Kanye, Pharrell, Naomi
Yep.
Campbell, Kim Kardashian, Jay-Z,
Jay-Z.
Cardi B, Big Sean, Dr. Dre again.
Again, they're playing things right in front of
Travis
you.
Scott, Kanye,
They're
Post Malone,
Oh no.
Weekend,
The
The
Weeknd,
Weeknd, yeah.
Jaden Smith, the late great Kobe.
Here's the thing, though. Kobe was not a part of it.
Yeah. So
They're gonna paint. They're gonna
this
paint
is
him
his
being the
50th
bad guy
birthday. This video.
when he
What's
really
going
isn't.
on right here? There's Snoop Loop.
That's what's sad about Kobe is that they're actually gonna paint him
doing
being
his
the
thing.
bad
Here are the
guy.
people that were actually at this event. All the Kardashians, Kim, Khloe, Kylie, Kanye West, Cardi B, Travis Scott, The Weeknd, Kevin Hart, Jay-Z, Kobe, the late Kobe and his wife Vanessa, Jaden Smith, Machine Gun Kelly, Post Malone, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Naomi Campbell, and many others that you saw in this video. All these people could potentially be subpoenaed to be at the Diddy trial. Kevin Hart right there. So when we talk about OJ, you know, as Adam Sandler famously said in the Hanukkah song, O.J. Simpson, not a Jew. All these people could potentially be subpoenaed. Jay-Z, in the biggest potential trial ever, Diddy. And I'll tell you why. The O.J. Simpson trial, humongous. They weren't interviewing other celebrities.
Yeah.
The Johnny Depp trial, humongous. It was just Johnny and Amber Heard. Harvey Weinstein, I don't know what happened there, but we don't really see much of that trial. What do you remember from that trial?
Vague headlines on social media.
Okay.
That's pretty much all anybody talked about.
The Epstein trial that everybody said, oh no, there was no trial. What happened with him? The Ghislaine Maxwell trial, I don't,
Nothing
did
burger.
anything happen with that?
No. That was disappointing.
The potential magnitude of a Diddy trial, if Jay-Z and Beyonce have to take the stand, if Justin Bieber has to take the stand, if all of Bad Boy Entertainment and Death Row Records have to take the stand, if Kevin Hart has to take the stand, if Post Malone has to take the stand, should I go on here? If all these people who are affiliated with Diddy and have known him for years, if Ashton Kutcher has to take the stand, these are all his friends. DJ Khaled, he's going to be like another thing, another one.
Here's the thing. If all of his friends come out and say something about Diddy, I don't think people realize what it's actually going to be. It might really shock us for a little bit, but it's another video.
Another one. Another one. That's just who's going to be taking the stand on a Diddy trial. It's going to be the biggest thing we've ever seen in our lifetime. Agree or disagree?
Totally agree. Yeah. The question is, even if they take the stand, will a lot of these people actually provide information, or will they plead the fifth?
Well, if you've ever listened to a rap song, Isabel, snitches get stitches. So we'll find out what happens here. Now you're in this world. You've been
Okay, snitches get stitches, but they also snitch on themselves in rap videos as well. So they're actually kind of hypocrites.
loud. You've been to the club. You know 21 Savage. Hold on, let me adjust my jacket for a second. Go ahead, Nat. What do you want to say about this subject?
It's a chance for people to come and speak the truth. It really is, whether you're snitching or not. If you want me to be honest, I think the fact that he's naming names, kind of publicly threatening everyone else, to me is saying that you're somewhat guilty of something. In my opinion, call me crazy. I think if you're threatening people, hey, you don't answer my phone, let me name all the people that not answer my phone, it's because you have something to hide. I think it's going to be a really interesting case to see kind of where even celebrities stand based on facts that come out and, things that they've done in the past as well. So I'm interested to see a lot of where the celebrities kind of stand, what happens, and I'm interested to even see their dream team set up.
Yep.
I want to see the dream team attorneys, who's going to pick who and what's going to pick who, and from there, also the marketing that comes after that, books that come out, the marketing, all the content. At the end of the day, as terrible as some of these allegations are, it's an opportunity that people use to make money, and it is what it is. But I hope, with some of these names for celebrities that are big examples and influence for the generation today, up and coming, they really take that into consideration and speak the truth, and hopefully justice is done.
Well said, Nat. Amy, let me ask you something. I think you said something about this the other day. I could be wrong. There was a trial, 6 months ago, this guy Danny Masterson from the 70s show, and Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis defended him. They wrote a letter. Basically saying
something about that. Yeah,
Okay.
we didn't talk about it though.
So maybe it wasn't you. You familiar with this story? They came out, and then he was sentenced to, I don't know, how long in prison?
I don't remember the sentencing. He was found guilty.
But he was found guilty. Malik, did you just find Danny Masterson?
People were mad
sentencing?
at Mila and Ashton for standing up for him, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I remember this.
And this is Danny Masterson. Who the fuck is he?
Right, yeah.
Jury convicted Dan Masterson back in May of 2023. Okay, so it's been a year. He sexually assaulted them at Hollywood Hills home after playing them. Did it say how long he's going to be in jail for?
This AP News article, the first link says
30 years.
30 years?
Okay. So, guys, go with me on this because I want to
That's
get your
long
feedback.
It's a very long time.
For
Okay.
that type of a...
Yeah, 30 years. Okay. So, two-tier justice system. You talked about OJ gets off. What did that have to do with the LA riots? The juror basically said everything. Danny Masterson, celebrity, but not that big of a celebrity on the 70s show with Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis. He gets 30 years. Diddy. It's fair to say Diddy's a little bit bigger than Danny Masterson. And the charges and the allegations, by the way, pull up that article, facing all the charges. The charges or the allegations that he's facing way bigger than Danny Masterson. All these people potentially having to take the stand. We've seen the backlash that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis had for defending Danny Masterson. What kind of backlash do you think Jay-Z and Beyonce could get? What kind of backlash do you
They
think?
immediately folded, right?
Did
Like
they?
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, after he was found guilty, they ended up making an apology video for defending him in the first place.
You're absolutely right.
And to me, I'm thinking like, why would you, if you fold that quickly, how much effort or how much did you really believe your like character statement that you submitted on his behalf? If right after he's found guilty, they're like, oh, I'm distancing myself from him. So to me, it was like either you didn't really believe it in the first place, or you were doing it to try to get him off potentially and hoping that your word was going to carry some weight within the justice system, and then once it didn't play out for you, you decided to distance yourself out of convenience.
You're absolutely right.
And isn't Danny
So-
Masterson in the Church of Scientology?
Is he really?
I'm pretty sure he's a Scientologist.
The
so
story goes deeper,
when
apparently.
he was like hit with all of that, I'm thinking like, okay, if the Church of Scientology didn't come bail you out with their like, legal team, maybe you did do something.
Danny Masterson was convicted of sexual assault.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, if Diddy, allegedly did a tenth of what he's being accused of, right? Sex trafficking, sexual abuse, rape, minors. I've seen the video of Justin Bieber and Usher, whatever's going on there. All these people here, does NBC News, what does it say right there? Search warrants connect with the federal investigation to allegations of sex trafficking, sexual assault, the solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms. Point is, this is way deeper than Danny Masterson. All these people are going to take the stand. How many of these people are going to be like, yeah, I ain't saying shit for fear of backlash? How many people are going to say, I'm just going to pick a name, Mary J. Blige. She's been part of Diddy's life for 30 years. Imagine she says, I've known Diddy for 30 years. He's only been the best to me. He's helped me. I stand by my friend Diddy. God forbid he gets called guilty. Off with her head. The court of public opinion.
I don't know.
What?
What's interesting here is that I think there's two courts of public opinion to play to in Hollywood.
Yeah.
There's regular, everyday people who would say off with your head. And frankly, rightfully so. If you knew all this was happening and you were covering it up, allegedly, if it's all happening, that's a huge problem. I think we all know that that's probably going on inside of Hollywood. But there's also the tier of the Hollywood inner circle. I find it fascinating that this is all happening at the exact same time the Quiet on Set documentary series is going viral right now. I don't know if you've had a chance to
Tell me
watch
about
it.
that.
Oh,
Mind
great.
you, that Quiet on Set documentary is so crucial to what's going on in Hollywood because it's all of the child actors coming out saying on what happened behind the scenes in the studios of those child acting shows.
Let's
You
hear it.
have homework tonight, Adam.
I got a comedy show tonight, but go ahead.
A group put together this documentary series. A new surprise episode just dropped. I haven't watched it. Called Quiet
I need
on
to watch it
Set,
too.
investigating the sexual abuse that was happening to child actors on Nickelodeon during the late
Oh,
1990s
yes,
and early
yes, yes.
2000s.
Ariana Grande, was you
All
part
of
of
this
that?
has now been exposed. They weren't able to talk about certain stories largely because of NDAs, but Drake Bell, for the first time ever, shared his story
Josh and
publicly
Drake, yes, I've heard
of
this.
being
I've heard rumors
sexually
of this.
abused
Yes.
over years and years and years at Nickelodeon. Here's the thumbnail for the show, Quiet on Set. People are eating this up, like ordinary people are eating this up. But a
Okay.
large part of the story is that the inner Hollywood circle wrote letters to the trials of these sexual predators of children to vouch for their character, to stand up for them, to say, we've been friends with them for years and years. They would never do something like this. And even when they were found guilty, even when they spent time in prison, none of those people recounted their statements. And so I'm curious if this Diddy trial actually proceeds the way that we expect it to. How are celebrities going to respond? Either A, to appease the concerns of ordinary people who are up in arms about particularly sexual abuse of minors, largely because of the Epstein trial that has yet to have any meaningful direction in our country, and now this Quiet on Set documentary series, or are they going to try to appease the Hollywood inner circle that expects you to stand up for your friends and not rat anybody out and don't be a snitch?
Isabel, well said. And here's my only response, and this is where there's three sides to every person. So we're on a show right now. You're only going to know two sides of me, or you. Meaning, all right, the cameras are rolling, everyone at home sees what we're doing. We all see it, we see what's going on. Everybody say hi to the cameras at home. Everybody go ahead. Hey guys. Okay, everyone sees that. When this show's over at 6 o'clock, cameras are off. We're all going to see what's going on behind the scenes. Only we know what's going on backstage. You guys were backstage. You guys were hanging out. You guys are doing it. Only us. But then we all go home. And nobody knows what we're doing at home. So to me, if it's like, yes, I know Isabel off camera. She's great. Da-da-da. I don't know what's going on in your house. You don't know. Like, that's how it works. The third side to everybody. And so the people who are defending somebody else, they don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So all the people that are defending Diddy, they sing him on camera, off camera.
Yep.
One of the things I always say is I've been to a Diddy party before. There goes Amy. I've been to a Diddy party before.
Rat it out.
I've been to the Playboy Mansion a few times. But I don't go up to the master bedroom in the house. I'm on the lawn with the party goers,
Yeah.
festival goers, so to speak. We don't know what's going on up in the master bedroom. Nobody does. And oftentimes the girls that end up in the master bedroom or whoever ends up in there, as we know from Bill Cosby, sometimes they don't even remember.
So you're saying you're gonna plead the fifth? If you were,
I'm just
if
saying.
you were in Hollywood and you had to like, you were called to the stand, you're not gonna say
I
anything.
think you have
would you
to.
say? What
I
would
think
you
you
do?
have to operate very delicately. And I would say just that, like if I'm any of those people, I would say there's three sides to every. Guys use this: Jay-Z, Beyonce, Dre, Snoop, Bieber, Usher. Use this. Listen, there's three sides to every person. I can tell you conclusively, on camera, I stand by this person. Off camera, I stand by this person.
But yeah.
But I don't know what's going on when he goes to his house when he leaves. And that's the truth. Because as Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis found out, they can vouch for somebody on camera. They can vouch for him off camera, but they don't know what homeboy Danny Masterson was doing back in his apartment. And if you
It's
vouch
every
for
man for
somebody,
themselves.
what's that?
It's every man for themselves. They're not going to put their reputation on the line for something that has like such high risk and very low reward or returns on the off chance that he's like, not found guilty.
Correct. But I'll tell you what, I can pretty much guarantee that our friend Pal over here, on camera, off camera, when she goes home, she's a great person.
I am.
I can
I
guarantee.
believe I am.
I believe that because I believe all women.
Very
Conclu-
progressive.
But you never know is my point, is you never freaking know. All right, moving on. We got about a half hour left. Amy, of course, our lovely friend Amy. When there's a half hour left, she's got to use the restroom. Everyone okay? So what I want to do is I want to focus this last half hour. Yeah, we can not go wide on this one. On Isabel's book, The End of the Alphabet, How Gen Z Can Save America. I found some excerpts from the book. I want to tee you up, and I want to let you know let the people out there know some of your
Love it.
conclusions, what they found. Here's some of the excerpts I found. The perfect future world our grandparents and our parents so carefully built, where we inevitably have flying cars and world peace, really looks a lot more dystopian than anyone would have ever expected it would. We are quite literally living in the upside down world in an inverted reality from what it should be recognizable and familiar. Right is wrong and wrong is right. You go on to say this. The perfect progressive, allegedly utopian society for the last few generations have carefully built, step by step, has not translated to happiness, fulfillment, or even hope for Gen Z. Gen Z instead is facing the single greatest mental health crisis any generation has ever encountered in human history. And then you go on with the stats. 18% of Gen Z are more likely to report that they've been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. 23% of Gen Zers are more likely to report that they've been diagnosed with depression. So I tee you up, Isabel Brown, our friend. How, with all these issues, with everything that's going on, with the deck stacked against Gen Z, how the hell are they going to save America?
It's an important question and one that's hard to answer in one sentence, but
You have multiple sentences.
to explain this a bit further, I think it's fascinating that the reason I wrote this book over the last several years is I've been asked to be a bit of a token voice for Generation Z in politics and in media. I've worked for the U.S. Senate, I worked in the White House, I've worked with tons of different political nonprofits, and so I'm often asked to be the voice of our generation. And typically when I go on podcasts or largely mainstream media, Fox News or CNN or do some print media with Newsweek or radio with NPR, I've heard the exact same monotonous, unanimous narrative about Generation Z, which is Gen Z is destroying America. That it's our generation's fault that we're struggling with anxiety and depression. It's our fault that nobody knows what gender is. It's our fault that what's happening at the border is happening and that crime is so terrible in inner cities, that nobody can talk to each other and we're so politically divisive today. And if you just stop and think about that for half a second, most of us are still children ourselves. We're still teenagers and preteens. So somebody had to raise us in this world, and somebody had to make that inverted flip into the upside down, which I think regardless of where you fall politically, it's inarguable to say that we are in a very confusing time in America as we're coming into adulthood. Literally, there is no distinguishable difference between good and evil, and depending on who you ask is going to have a completely different answer. Men are not distinguishable from women. We have members of the Supreme Court of the United States who cannot answer the question, what is a woman? You're watching children be taught they should pee in litter boxes in current middle school and high school classrooms all across
Full disclosure,
the country.
I only pee in litter boxes.
Good, I'm glad we got that out of the way. It's behind the set, you guys, in case you're
Does it? Come on, guys. Just accept people for where they are.
But it's a scary reality, and yet the finger from every generation older than us has been pointed at Gen Z saying, this is your fault. I've been working in content creation and on high school and college campuses for the last 5 to 6 years. And I knew that that wasn't true, but that message somehow really isn't getting translated to those older than us, which is one of the reasons I decided to write this book. What you're watching happen, and I alluded to this earlier, but culturally with Gen Z, is this pendulum swing unlike anything anybody saw coming, culturally speaking, and we'll talk about politics too, to rebel against this rigid authoritarian leftism, against our secular society, against subjective morality and no sense of objective truth, and to instead yearn for timeless, traditional, very conservative, culturally values that have always made Western civilization great. So that's manifesting in a million different ways. 93% of our generation still wants to get married in a time that marriage has been all out erased from society, easily demonized, and we have the lowest marriage rate in American history currently. We're realizing we shouldn't be spending $250,000 on a degree in, I don't know, underwater lesbian basket weaving, because that's not going to be something successful for our careers after we graduate. I have no doubt that's a real degree.
Abomination to the word of God
I
as
got into
well.
a big debate with Stream of Destiny about college, and he was like, just don't go to school for basket weaving, you're fine. But I've never heard of underwater lesbian basket weaving.
It's the
That's
Gen
a
Z
whole other
version.
level.
And I have no doubt that's a real class somewhere, just knowing what I know about campuses.
I don't doubt it.
You touch on a few things, traditional American values. We've covered this on the show umpteen times. The Wall Street Journal expose about the decline in traditional American values, you know, having a family, raising children, community service, religion, all plummeting. The only thing that is actually a little bit of an uptick is money. Would you say you're a conservative? Would you say you're a traditionalist? Are you a libertarian? How would you define yourself?
I'm very politically conservative, and I think that stems from all of the religious and cultural values that I have as well. To finish off some of those examples for our generation at large, 62% of us have already started our own businesses because we're realizing we don't want to be an unpaid CEO or an unpaid intern to a woke CEO in San Francisco or New York who is offering to pay for an abortion out of state but not better maternity leave. So we'd rather just be CEO on day one. We're quitting our hormonal birth control from across the political spectrum at large as a generation, so much so that the Washington Post totally freaked out about this the other day and blamed it all on right-wing QAnon influencer propaganda instead of our generation reading the side effects of birth control on the box and saying we don't want to be taking this anymore. And so you're watching this cultural revolution happen, and it was the late, great Andrew Breitbart that was famous for saying politics is downstream from culture. That if you want to start changing what's happening in the Oval Office or the halls of Congress, you have to first start by changing how people are living their day-to-day life. I am a very conservative Gen Zer, but I think even if we wouldn't necessarily label ourselves politically conservative right now, that is the trajectory we are going in, largely because of these lifestyle choices and cultural values we're embracing in defiance of those older than us every day.
So, and by the way, Malik, pull up this article. I'm going to reference it from The Hill in a second. I'll tell you when to pull it up. I think it's the last thing I sent you. The progressives, the AOCs of the world, the Rashida Tlaibs of the world, the Ariana Presleys of the world, the Bernie Sanders of the world.
Pretty good. That was impressive.
Yeah, you understand that 50% of retirees are retiring with no money saved? I always find that funny. I feel like they have a major voice. Our friend Aaron here is a progressive. Our friend Pixie is a progressive. Their role, their task is to sort of marry progressive thought leaders and influencers with progressive politicians, grassroots campaign. So, as a progressive, what do you think of progressives in general? And then I'll let her respond to what you have to say.
I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that word progressive, and most young people attach themselves to that word, I think, historically in America, because it's easy to envision a better society for everybody, right? There's important buzzwords that the left is strategically using through all of those pillars of culture that I've already mentioned that they've taken over to create this allegedly utopian society, right? We're so diverse, we're so inclusive, we're so progressive, we're so effective,
diversity is
we're
our
so
strength,
rich.
Isabel.
Diversity is our strength, right? These are all things that we hear on our college campuses, from influencers, on social media, and the mainstream media, certainly from some of the politicians that you just mentioned. And yet we've been building that for decades at this point in America. And where are we? We're at easily the most divided time in modern history, by far. We literally can't have conversations about 90% of the social issues happening in our country because we've been strategically taught, always avoid people who think differently from you, and hate speech will literally kill you. You just can't even stand to be in a room with somebody spewing
Don't hurt
such
anybody's
hateful
feelings,
ideology.
though.
It's a scary time. And amazingly, 2024 looks a whole lot more like 1984 than this flying cars, utopian, successful future. We are being censored more than ever before. We are hopeless for the future more than ever before. We have lack of trust in our public institutions more than ever before. So progressives have been at the helm of this culturally and politically for a while, but nothing has actually progressed in society. It's regressing. So to be truly progressive, I think you have to start evaluating, okay, what are my values? What do I believe in? What do I stand for? Dave Rubin is famous for saying, you can't be a Democrat, but you don't necessarily have to be a Republican today. There's a whole movement happening in America realizing the Democrat Party that calls themselves progressive is not really progressing anything, and they certainly don't espouse classically liberal values today.
So, Aaron, here's your chance to respond, by the way. Respect to you. You have a whole book on it. Proofs in the pudding. Aaron, you've done your research, you know your stuff. It's not like you're some lightweight, but you get a lot of heat from certain conservative pundits on progressive values. Where do you stand on what she has to say, and what do you stand for?
I think we definitely agree on the fact that Gen Z, like our predecessors, as a young generation, were rebellious, but I think we're rebellious in more innovative ways and ways that our forefathers and previous generations weren't. We want to have, there's an emphasis on individuality. There's a lot of independent thought, and I think that's why you're seeing this divergence. Like, on the last show, we looked at how there are Gen Z men are identifying as like conservative or Republican, and Gen Z women are more often identifying as like liberal or Democrat. They usually use like party.
Malik, you can pull that article up.
They usually use party affiliation as kind of like a proxy, but when you look at like the policies, what?
That's definitely not it.
We'll get it right
Keep
next
going.
time.
Yeah.
When you look at the policies, there's widespread support among Gen Z, both men and women, for policies like Medicare for all, for free state college tuition, for more strength in unions, and there is ideological agreement. But I do think that you see that rebelliousness because more Gen Zs probably identify as independent rather than just strict conservative or Democrat. But as far as I can see, Gen Z is trending pretty progressive. So I'm really surprised that like the thesis of your book is that you see them as going to like save America and take it towards like Christian, more conservative, when all the stats that I'm seeing show that like Gen Z is more secular, they're more progressive, that they want to embrace the left's vision for America, more progressive ideals rather than like returning to traditional.
Yeah, but with responding to with what she's saying is that yes, even if that is true in statistics, the whole point is to stand on and keep those traditional values. If you don't want to keep those traditional values, then you don't want a thriving civilization. That's what conservatives are also trying to say. We're not trying to bash it over your head and condemn you, but we're just telling you that's sometimes not how it's supposed to be.
You used a word there that I loved, independent, and that's exactly what's happening, particularly with the younger cohort of our generation. So those that are first-time registered voters going into November, 53% of them are registering as independent with a capital I. They are saying, my vote does not blindly belong to you, either party, and there is a huge renaissance of critical thinking in the political space and with these political policies that nobody really saw coming, because I think we've all talked so much about indoctrination and groupthink and all of these things in politics and act.
Okay, here's the thing though. No problem with independent voting. No problem at all. In fact, we would need you, because we need more people that are wanting to be that way. But also something that you have to kind of understand is that if you think that your vote is going to nothing, if you think that your vote is not going to count, first and foremost, if we're voting and people are voting online, over the phone, over by mail, something happens in the mail, what do? If something happens with our internet and our power grid shuts down, what do we do then? Then you're rigged at that point. So at that point, you just praise to God and just hope that He catches you.
Over the last several years, in rebellion of those trying to get us all to think exactly the same way, we're saying, hang on a second, I want to ask more questions about who's running for president, and do I really agree with that? Do I agree with this mainstream opinion on abortion? Do I agree with this thing I was just taught on gender ideology in my psych class? Let's think a little bit more critically about that. And so that independent voter base is absolutely growing. If you study exit polling from the last several elections in 2018, 2020, and 2022, the graph looks like a perfect diagonal line. If you remember high school algebra, the sample y equals mx plus b graph, towards more conservative politicians, policies, ballot initiatives, etc. And when you hear this overwhelming narrative, Gen Z is so progressive, they want this and that and this and that, it's a whole lot more nuanced than 99% of the things you're seeing in the mainstream media. A great example is abortion. I think everybody on the left is expecting Gen Z to vote to codify Roe v. Wade going into November and codify just abortion on demand through all 9 months of pregnancy for any reason. That's what's being asked from the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris administration of this group of young voters. You can look at a poll and see Gen Z supports abortion in the majority, but 9 in 10 voters under the age of 45 support at least some restrictions on abortion, which is a dramatically different picture than what the White House and the Biden campaign is trying to paint for America. No rules, anything goes, just do whatever you want. And so I'm loving that independent renaissance of thought, of critical thinking, because it's allowing us not just to say my vote belongs to this party, I consider myself this color on my voter registration, but to ask about objective truth, about values for our country, to paint a picture of where we're going that isn't necessarily tied to whoever the most powerful person in the party is at that time.
Yeah, it's hard to, identity politics and groupthink, it's hard to Gen Z thinks this, really? There's like 40 million Gen Z.
70 million of us. We're
so there's 80 million millennials, how many?
70 million Gen Zers. So together we will be the largest voting bloc for the first
millennials
time
and Gen
ever
Z.
in the next
70
few
million
elections.
Gen Z, there's 80 million millennials, there's 76 million baby boomers. These are the big, largest cohorts of generations in America. Gen Z thinks this. It's like, really? You tell me how 70 million people think? It always frustrates me when you hear all, all the, yes, not identity politics and all that. But Malik, show that article from The Hill. Guys, apologize. There's no measles outbreak. It's the wrong article. We're talking about high school boys. You said Gen Z doesn't, it's just, 26, 27 and under.
Through about 12, 13, yep.
To about 12, 13, and then it goes to Generation Alpha, right? It starts over. My nephew is 10 years old. He's an alpha. That's what's up. He's an alpha. But show the graphs. High school boys are trending conservative. And so the red are the boys, and the blue are the girls. They're trending liberal. Thank you, Malik. So this is kind of what I was talking about with Dave Rubin, where you're seeing all these stats out there, credit to you, but then you see a stat like this, and look, stats are great, and but at the end of the day, you gotta. The boys and the girls have to kind of make the babies, guys, despite popular belief.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Men can't be birthing people?
Guys,
No way.
I know that I say controversial, outlandish things at times, but yeah, I'm old school. The girls have the babies and the boys have the, what's going on out there. But if they're not getting together, how are they going to make the babies? Here's an article out here that I think we can show about Gen Z dating, because I know you've talked a little bit about this. Amid an epidemic of loneliness, we talked about 18% of Gen Z adults more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety disorder, 23% of Gen Z diagnosed with depression. Obviously, you guys suffered greatly from the lockdowns. You were in college, you were in high school, you're not getting together with your friends. How are they dating? And I see you've said that they're just kind of done with the dating apps at this point. and that speed dating is making a comeback because Gen Z face dating app fatigue. Malik, you have this article? Here it is right there. Gen Z speed dating is making a comeback. Old school. If you ever seen the 40-year-old virgin, where Steve Carell goes on the speed dating, and he's like, oh, what's your Gina? Oh, nice. Yeah, okay. Is it Gina? Gina. Nice. 46% of online daters say their experiences were very or somewhat negative. Eventbrite, which is the app that kind of puts parties together and events together, Eventbrite, saw a 63% surge in speed dating events since 2021.
That's interesting that speed dating is actually coming back, because I remember back in the day when I was a kid growing up that speed dating was corny, and now it's actually coming back, which is funny.
3% increase in dating event attendance in 2022 and 2023. 61% of online dating users range between 30 to 50, and 26% are 18 to 29. So evidence showing that Gen Z is sort of done with the dating apps. They want to get out there.
Yeah, who
They
wants to
want
go on Tinder?
speed
Just keep
date,
swiping.
bing, 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 bing. Maybe go home with a person named Gina. You never know. What are your thoughts on speed dating over dating apps these days?
I'm not surprised, and I think it really stems from this world we're living in where we spend all of our time through screens. Our job, our school, our entertainment, everything is so two-dimensional that we're trying to break free from that. Dating apps were so popular in my early years of college, and honestly today, I've never downloaded one, which I think most people are really surprised
You've never
by.
downloaded a
Never
dating app?
downloaded a dating
Wow.
app. I'm engaged and getting married in like
Lucky.
80 days, which is very exciting.
Brock.
Lucky.
Yeah, Brock is my fiance.
What's
He's
up,
the
though?
best. Yep.
Phoenix,
Shout out. I know
Brock.
you're watching at home.
My girl Adi.
But I think
Shout out
there's
to the
this,
Dave Rubin crew. It's
this
awesome.
overwhelming push in our generation to delete those apps because we've realized through our own experience or through the experiences of our older siblings or our friends or whatever that constantly swiping left and right and left and right and left and right on edited photos that aren't real, learning everything about somebody in a bio instead of having the fun experience of actually getting to know someone by talking to them in real life. And wanting something that lasts instead of a meaningless hookup every once in a while, or 3 weeks later a text from some guy named Chad, you up at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, right? That's not very...
you got my text?
I got your text.
She's getting married.
It's okay, it's okay.
I know, Brock. Great dude.
But it's shocking, right, that more people didn't see this coming. And the Match Group that owns more of the dating apps than you could possibly imagine in the space. There's really no competition. They own Twitter, Tinder, they own Hinge, they own a couple other ones, but I can't remember off the top of my
Gotcha.
head.
Match.com,
Match.com, they own all of these apps, so illusion of free choice with competing interests there, but they're freaking out, like literally breathing in a bag of how to retain Gen Z as customers.
Yeah.
And I was reading a fascinating article about this the other day. We never talk about it like that, as customers.
Yeah.
But when you've downloaded an app, you are a user of the app. The app's goal is not to get you to delete the app, despite the bio of Hinge being the app designed to be deleted. Is that Hinge? I don't remember. But it's the app designed to be deleted. They have no interest in helping you do that because they need to retain you for advertising purposes.
That might
That's how
be
they
Bumble.
make money. It might be Bumble.
Okay.
No, Bumble? I don't remember. Anyway,
We can't keep track.
not my individual.
It's definitely not Grindr. It's definitely not Grindr. I don't know.
So they tell you, we want to help you find love. They tell you, we're going to help you delete this app and your life's going to be so great. But who actually experiences that? More often than not, the vast majority of our generation has had horrible experiences. There was a different study that said 90% of Gen Z says that we've had bad experiences on dating apps instead of just 46. So you're watching this mass deletion and this push towards more traditional relationships. Shocking. Who would
There
have
it
thought? Not just monogamous, committed, long-term dating relationships, but wanting to get married. The marriage rate for the first time since COVID is actually going back up in America today. And states like Nevada are having like 30% marriage rates in the last few years, which is insane. That is so far beyond the normal rate, especially as it's been plummeting in the last several years. Divorce rates are going down. Actual dating events like speed dating are coming back. I've been on the Whatever podcast twice in the last year, which is very viral for all kinds of fun dating-related conversations with OnlyFans and pornography actresses and
Amy's been on
all
a few
kinds of fun
times.
stuff. I was actually on Tuesday, and while I was sitting there in Santa Barbara, I'm sitting across the table from two active OnlyFans creators. Most of the girls would have called themselves themselves liberal, progressive, feminist women. And yet we went around the table on Tuesday night just a few days ago, and every single girl raised her hand proudly and said, I want to get married someday.
I ask every single girl who comes here, because I had a very public feud with Chelsea Handler. And I was like, because I'm a little bit older than you guys, I've seen the end of the game.
Yep.
I've seen the girls when they're young and they're hot and they're in their 20s, and I also see them now when they're in their 40s having babies with themselves. And I was like, it's all fun and games when you're hot and you're young and you're 20, but when you're buying yourself a drink at the end of the bar in your 40s, not a good look. So you got to take advantage of your youth and your beauty now. And if you make horrible decisions like OnlyFans or sex workers, the chances of finding that husband will be diminished. By the way, real quick, and I need full disclosure, Pao, have you ever been on any dating apps?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. How's it go?
Well, it hasn't worked for me, but I know many people who has actually had success stories. So I don't know. I'm kind of like I get overwhelmed. Like I don't know. It's like, and sometimes you meet people and they're not how you expected it. I normally go without expectations, but I don't know. I've been trying to also pick like real life, you know.
Real life. Well, one of the things I always say is that, you know, oftentimes when you go on a date, you go have a meal. So I use the metaphor, the analogy that the main course in dating should be real life. Whether it's speed dating or my version of speed dating, going out in South Beach to a bunch of different bars or whatever, go out there in real life. And that's for anything. That's for business, that's for life, that's for relationships. Get the fuck out of your house, get off your phone, get out there. Go west, young man. Get out there. Amy, you ever been on any dating apps?
No, I mean, even coming out of like, because I came out of a 4-year relationship at the beginning of this year, so that was like, you know, the better half of my 20s, and I didn't even consider it once to get on a dating app.
Never been on a dating app?
No, actually my friend Tim, like, he's basically like a brother to me, he's using my number right now for Tinder because he got banned.
How do you get banned? I don't even want to know.
Well, I can actually tell you, a girl came to go see him. She looked nothing like her pictures. And so basically, you know, she came upstairs, they were having a conversation, and he didn't know how to break it to her, like, girl, you don't look anything like your pictures. So he walked her downstairs to get him the Uber, was like, oh, I left my wallet upstairs, and then texted her, I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling it. You're going to have to go home or go out and have a great night. And she reported him, and that's how his number got,
Drama.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry to hear that. Nat, you ever been on a dating app?
Yes, I have been on a dating app. I've dated one person from meeting them on a dating app. It was probably one of the worst relationships.
Hold on, how many dates did you go on?
Well, I've been on 2 dates from a dating app. The first date was horrible. I almost got taken. What? Yeah, a little bit. It was a little.
Like Liam Neeson style?
Yeah, it was. I don't want to say taken, but I almost kind of got like I guess. You know, got a little bit aggressive.
Predatory vibes?
Yeah, like that. And then the other person,
Well, we got your back.
Thanks. Then the other
What was the
person,
other one?
I dated him and ended up taking care of him, and yeah, it didn't work out.
All right, yeah, we won't go there. You're in a pretty serious relationship. You ever been on a dating app before your guy?
No, fuck no. I don't like dating apps very much. Definitely not my thing. If other people want to do that, that's fine. But, you know, dating apps, like we were saying earlier, you are the customer. They're not there to get you off the app. They're there to keep you on. And so I think people look at dating apps and they start basing their self-perception and self-worth when they're using these apps off of how many likes am I getting, how many matches am I getting, how many conversations, instead of actually looking at, like, who cares about any of that? Are you actually getting out into the real world, talking and connecting with these people and actually having dates? But I'm not, just because I don't really like the setup of dating apps, because I think there's weird incentives there, that doesn't mean that I'm opposed to people meeting online, because I think instead of using dating apps, I think most people tend to use like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, other social media accounts, and they slide into each other's DMs, and I think that's probably, if you're interested in like online dating, that's probably a better way to like navigate the online sphere rather than just defaulting to dating apps, which are basically like slot machines, but for dating. You know?
But essentially, too,
I've also met people who have ended up being my friends. So it's like it depends on with what intention would you go and in how much emotion. Because if you're like, oh my god, this is like like.
Well, there are, I think, options on the dating apps to be friends. There's like Bumble
Dude,
Friends.
there's Bumble business. There's Bumble. No one's going on.
They're trying to say,
Okay.
by the way, real quick,
No one's
but
looking for
like,
investors
I
on
know you're in a
Bumble.
relationship. I know before that, were you ever on a dating app?
Yeah, I was actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've experienced with them.
Okay. Good, bad, positive. Real
A
quick.
little bit of everything. Got some weirdos on there. Got some crazy people.
you have scammers on
Yeah,
there.
so I'm actually like, my girlfriend is from a dating app actually.
Okay, Malik.
Breaking news.
But you have a lot of scammers on dating apps. You know how many people are on dating apps just to get money out of people?
Well, here I'll say this because we're gonna wrap up with a happy ending real quick. The dating apps, like I said before, the main course should be real life. You never know. You know, the appetizer or the dessert can be dating apps. You never know. Malik found his girl on a dating app. One girl I dated for 2 years, I found her on Instagram, slid in the DM. Let's go. You're moving in with me. It happens. A lot of times, look, I have the luxury of just being in Miami in real life. That's kind of where I meet people, but I'll give you 2 quick stories. One time I met a girl on a dating app. She was amazing. She's hot. She's cool. Who she was turned out to be a little bit of an alcoholic. But I probably would have found out she was an alcoholic in real life anyway, so it's all good. One girl, I see her on a dating app. I'm like, what's up with this girl? I was like, you always got to do a FaceTime or like something like that.
Before you meet.
Yes.
I do the FaceTime. I go, whoa. She goes, why? What's wrong? I'm like, oh, something is in your bag. Be careful out there. I'll call you back. I was like, what the fuck was that?
happened?
You never
Completely different.
Because you can just FaceTime things. You never know what's
Well,
going on.
guys do. Guys normally lie
I
with
don't know
their
if guys are doing that, but a lot of girls on
That's
dating apps are doing. They're looking for attention. They're looking for validation. They're just looking for their thumbs up.
Have you
Guys
saw
are
enough
looking for
dating
some
apps?
ass.
Yes.
Let's make marriage great
Amen.
again. By the way, real quick, Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat, you know, in the spirit of trying to make marriage great again. Apparently, him and his wife, Isla Fisher, are filing for divorce. My wife, show this story real quick if you can, real quick. I hope that it's not true. I thought that was a great couple. She announces a divorce from Sacha Baron Cohen after 13 years of marriage. They've been together 20 years. Do you have the picture of Borat in the bathing suit? Let me tell you how I know this girl actually loves Sacha Baron Cohen or Borat. You have the picture of him in the bathing suit? She married that dude.
Very nice.
Very nice. High fives. So I hope they work it out. I hope they stay together. But you never know. That's our happy ending. Guys, we're going to wrap up early. We're going to wrap up at 6 o'clock. Because again, I got a comedy show to go to, and I got to rest this voice. Plug the comedy show real quick, if you can, tonight. And one night only, you can see your boy Saz at the Miami Improv with Vinny Oshana. And the whole PBD crew is going to be down there. Rob Gargiulo, PBD himself. I think PBD's even taking a special guest.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, something to really think about was that, you know, really talking about the difference and how things are different for Gen Z and with Gen Z compared to generations before the fact, you know. So it's really, really something to think about. But I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's stream. Tonight's stream was awesome. I loved every single bit of it. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It'll be also posted after as well, so go leave a like and comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also go share the show across all platforms. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. God bless you guys.